Welcome to Toronto Until Live. I'm Steve Artabello with Anthony Harris and Theo Giordano. You can find us live right now on YouTube, currently streaming. We're also streaming on Twitch. Find us live there, Toronto on Tilt. Of course, you can find us at our website, Toronto on Tilt. You can find us at our Twitter. It's also Toronto on Tilt. And finally, anywhere that you get podcasts. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Bleaker, all of the things. We are Toronto on Tilt. Find us there. Find us everywhere. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends. They were winning. It was 4-1. Pain.
Your mic is so loud, Tony.
Yeah, you can hear it when it bounces.
I also just spilled a bunch of water on myself, and I'm freaking out right now. I'm not handling this well.
Yeah, you're handling the lead just like the Leafs did.
Yeah.
First things first. I guess we'll talk about this Leafs game right off the hop. Yeah,
they only had like one game in the stretch we last were on, right?
Because they've had a lot of postponements.
Yeah,
because they're canceling all the Canada games because they want.
They're trying to postpone them for fans in the state. Exactly. So it's a mess. The schedule's a mess. Okay, we were talking about this before the podcast. Theo, you can actually run with this because you were the one talking about it most.
Yeah, well, I was just saying
the thoughts here, the feeling.
We were waiting for this moment. I think Steve was mostly waiting for this moment to happen as a guy who's doom and gloom for this team for so many years. Was waiting for this other shoe to drop with this team. Everyone, I actually didn't see the reaction I thought it would. There wasn't as many freakouts from people that I noticed, at least.
Yeah,
it was more like, the way that game went, like the Leafs did not deserve to win that game. From the beginning of the game, the Leafs were not the better team. They got a good stretch in the first period where they looked, great. Matthews looked amazing. And then they were just fighting for their lives the last two periods with a shorthanded team against a powerhouse in Colorado that you can't really, play the way they played and win. So,
yeah.
I wasn't that shocked when it happened. Like when it went to 4-2, I was like, all right, this is, has a feeling of one of those games.
I know, but it's one of those things. If you're on Twitter, you've seen all the stats and people talking about how it feels like the Leafs blow these leads, but it happens to other teams. They haven't blown leads like this inordinately. It just feels like they do because it's the Leafs. I want that to be true, so I'm going to try to stay positive. But it's just like when you get that Jack Campbell save, when you get big moments, Austin Matthews taking over for the time that he did, you expect the team to win. And I know they're without Mitch Marner, who's their second highest paid or the third highest paid player technically by like $7,000 behind John Tavares. But like this is one of their biggest guys, their most important pieces.
Yeah, and for all the shit he gets,
exactly,
for all the shit he gets, like that's an important game for him to be in. Like for moments like that, when you're trying to hold on to a lead, like you really are going to wish you had him. And
because for all the shit he takes too, with the way the penalty, the power play has been without him on it. Remember that as much as I have my issues with Mitch Marner and his contract and the way that all worked out, there's a reason he plays over 20 minutes a night as a forward. It's because he kills. Like as stupid as this sounds, he kills. Like he does a lot of other things. Which, I mean, for almost $11 million, you fucking better. But at the same time, he does do those things. So, exactly, it's one of your most important pieces that's away. But at the same time, it just, when you blow those leads, it's incredibly painful. It's even worse when you have Jack Campbell standing on his head and they still blow. You know what I mean? When they still fall apart.
Yeah. It's all these things adding up. Plus, you add altitude, which I think is a big deal. I think playing in altitude is always a problem. With a shorthanded team, it wasn't one like you look at like the Ottawa game, or you look at games that have happened in the past where it's like, oh my God, how the fuck did we fuck this up? Exactly. This wasn't one of those games for me. I felt like this coming, and I'm like, all right, they're going to have one of these moments throughout the season. Get it out of the way now. And, it was one of those situations where you're playing a team that's won 10 in a row at home, I think it was. Like, they're not a...
They're on a...
Like Colorado.
No, they're the best... Like, I don't know what their actual rank in the standings are, but if you look at the Colorado Avalanche, that's one of the 3 best teams in the NHL. Yeah. They just are. Like, look at just start listing off the names when you have Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, you on the defense, Cale Makar, Bowen Byram, who's fucking like 19 or 20, but is unfucking believable. Devin Taves, who they stole from the Islanders for 2 second-round picks. Like, This team is a wagon. Nazem Kadri, for the longest, he was leading the league in points at one point. Like, this team has gone nuts, and they are a wagon. It's still like the Leafs are supposed to be an elite team, and it's going to hurt when they blow a lead like that. Yeah. And as much as I want to scream and yell about this is the same old team, I can't get super excited when they win 6-0 against a bad Ottawa team and then get super apoplectic.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Lose.
I'm not
exactly.
flexing
you can't
whenever
ride
you
the
win.
roller
You just
coaster.
can't get like
you can't ride the roller coaster.
I took this stance last season. I said I'm not going to react in an emotional way to any of these games. I'm going to watch the games and take certain things from it, but I'm not going to be like taking grand conclusions from any of this shit until we get to real games. That's kind of what I'm feeling with this game too. It's like one of those moments where usually Leaf fans are going to freak out. They're going to say, "What the fuck, same old team." But then you're looking at it, it's like, we got 4 more months to get this shit going again. We're playing amazing right now. We've played great for like a few months now. We've had a lot of stoppages, injuries that we're dealing with.
Intermittent injuries and playing, 2 games in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Right?
It's like you're on a weird trip in a weird time zone, weird altitude. It's just one of those things.
I hate making excuses for this team.
I'm making a bunch of excuses, Steve.
But but that's the thing. It's like I can't tilt as hard as I want to scream about things when there are like actual extenuating circumstances. That's how I feel about this Leafs loss. It sucks. You don't like blowing a lead like that, especially when there's so many skeletons in the closet about these type of blown leads. But it is hockey and shit happens. It just sucks.
I will be concerned if this is like. If we're playing a Tampa, because Tampa's a team that can do this kind of thing as well. Like offensively, they can put pressure on you. If it's happening, then we have a full roster and we're like having these issues. We're shelling up and letting the attack come at us. That's when I'm going to be like, okay, fuck this. This has not been fixed. The same old shit. But as of now, it's like.
I would like to point out that the Tampa Bay Lightning missed Nikita Kucherov for an entire season, and we're still one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NHL, and then just got him back. Missing Mitch Marner is important, but I will posit that Nikita Kucherov is better than Mitch Marner, and the Lightning have done without him. So there's also an element of put on your big boy pants and get it done, which they did kind of do when they were missing other guys from COVID and various injuries. So they have done it at times. Like, that's why I can't tilt so hard against this. It's
I wish
frustrating.
We've waited a while. We've been sitting on this for like 3 days now, and we don't have a game until a couple hours from now. Like, if you're listening to this,
we have the 10 o'clock game. Exactly.
So, it's been tough to sit on this one, but like, it's not one of those things I see as being a pattern. It's more of an anomaly in my head, but I could be wrong. I've been fucking homering for this team for a while, and this stuff has happened before, but we'll see.
And then big game against Vegas. I know Vegas hasn't been the same team this year, but you want to talk about decimated by injuries. Like, there's been points where they haven't had anybody. They've had like me, Theo, and Tony on a line. Like, straight up, we've been their fourth line. So they've had some issues. They're getting guys back. Jack Eichel actually coming back very soon, it sounds like. So hopefully the Leafs can get it back on track tonight. Do you guys want to move on to...
Tony wants to move to the Raptors. I don't think he cares.
That's what I was trying to get to. So let's go to the Raptors.
Speaking of Raptors right now, we're up by 9, 36-27. 9 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Siakam night tonight. He's going crazy.
I haven't got to watch this one too closely, but
last week in terms of the Raptors, our big thing was this is a big measuring stick. The teams that they're playing. When you got Utah and you got the Suns, and then they played Utah without anybody, like literally
they all had
anybody. Rudy Gobert just did it again. He did it again. But
we played the Bucks too in this stretch without Giannis, or was that before?
It was in this stretch. We were talking about it. It was the right after our podcast because it was the next night on the back to back, and then Giannis didn't end up playing, so they end up dodging Giannis and they win that game. It's been weird though because all of these games, and it stretches back to that Clippers game. Most of these games have felt the exact same way. They're playing against a bad team. They play like shit in the first quarter. They're not great in the second. By the end of the second, into the third, they're the better team on the floor. And by the fourth quarter, they're smashing these teams. I need to see them against the good team. The Suns team is a good team.
It's
right?
the perfect formula for a team that's hurt, right? When you're playing a team that's hurt, that's what happens in all these games. Like NBA teams can hang with you even when they're really hurt for like the first half, and once the fourth quarter comes, it's like a lot of them fall apart when they're really decimated.
That's where they separate, is because now the starters come back in having had these big rests, and you're playing against the starters for the other team who aren't their normal starters, or playing more minutes than they've ever played and basically have to play most of the game. So exactly, at the end of the game, you can beat them into oblivion. It's very encouraging that they didn't get down to a good Suns team right off the hop, because it shows that they went, oh, okay, this is a good team. Like, let's come out a little bit stronger, because it's going to be interesting to see if they can hold the lead against a good team like this.
Yeah, Phoenix is kind of making their way back as we speak. Now it's like 4 points. But yeah, that's to be expected, right? Like,
exactly.
Like, blow out Phoenix.
It's going to be a seesaw. It's the NBA, so it's going to be a game of runs. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Phoenix is going to take a lead at some point. Toronto's going to come back. Like, the NBA swings so much.
And we're also shorthanded, like kind of last second shorthanded. Where we didn't. I don't know if Barnes was expected to be out of this one. I know Trent was out the last game, but
and so was Scotty. I want to say, or did he? I think he played last second. Yeah, they were both questionable, and Trent missed. Scotty played, and then now they're both missing. Hopefully they can get healthy, because that was one of the big things we were talking about. Is we wanted to see the full team healthy against oncomers, against good teams, and to see how they measured up. So hopefully those guys can get back soon. It doesn't sound serious. It didn't sound serious with Kem Birch and OG earlier, but hopefully it doesn't go that way. But it's been good, man. There's nothing we can complain about, because they've been obliterating these teams. Like, they've just been hammering them into the ground and asserting their dominance. Now, again, they've been getting down early, but if you look at the final scores, they might be down by 15 at the end of the first half and win a game by 20. So
it's the offense we didn't have early in the year, and now we have it.
Exactly. Well, now you have the
come back in games.
Like, Siakam's been unbelievable, but I think the guy we really need to pay attention to. So Siakam's been great throughout this whole stretch. He's really finding that next level. Like, he's a triple-double threat every time he touches the floor, and he's an elite defender. But my God, Fred VanVleet has just decided to go supernova. I don't know about MVP, but he's definitely an all-star. He's definitely an all-star.
The hot take isn't all-star anymore, so it has to go up a level. You can't just,
that's true. That's true.
We got your take.
We got to set the bar high, and just keep going from there. Worst case scenario, he's an all-star. Best case scenario, wins MVP. But no, realistically, I was telling you guys this before. Tony, I don't know if you agree, but to me, Fred is now the alpha of this team. Fred has taken the Kyle role, but he's also taken on a scoring role that we've seen him make big shots in that playoff run, make big threes, but now he's carrying the load while activating the offense as the point guard. Like, Fred is the man. He's the alpha of this team.
Yeah, he's been groomed to do this over the years, and I don't think any of us really saw it coming to this extent this year. We knew he'd be great, and he's been incredible. He's been carrying the team, scoring, as you were saying. We thought, OG's been good, but we kind of thought he would be the guy doing a bit more than Fred
more of the actual scoring. Yeah. No, exactly. Fred was a guy you'd figure who would get 20 or 25 on a good night, but yeah, more assists, playing the defense. He gets those long rebounds, even though he's like 6 foot flat. He still picks up a lot of rebounds because he's great at collecting the ones that come out deep. But yeah, it's the fearlessness, the fact that he can be 0 for 7 and then go on one. What was it? I don't think it was the Bucks game. I think it was the Utah game where he started, where he was like 1 of 7 for 3. And then by the end of the game, he was like 7. He just went nuts where he hit like 4 or 5 and he scored 33, like just dominant. I think, wasn't that the triple double game actually? Was Utah the triple double or was that New Orleans?
I thought it was last week, wasn't it? The triple double.
I think it was Utah.
Utah? Okay, yeah. Together. So it was Utah. No, that's why I'm trying to think. I'm like, wait, was it New Orleans or was it Utah? Yeah, it was the Utah game where he finally got the triple double too. So it was like, for Fred, everything is coming together, and it's actually perfect because all the pressure was on Pascal to be the guy. And it's funny, Pascal has been playing some of the best basketball of his career, and we're focusing on Fred. But who cares? Because if it works, that's perfect.
And you notice how quiet Twitter is on Pascal? That hate train was so active the first month of this season.
It was getting ready to go off the tracks because
people wanted him gone. Like, he was bad.
Since the bubble.
Mr. Spin move, one spin, that's it. I don't hear that anymore.
Once Andrew came on and talked to everyone down the ledge, that's when it changed.
This is true, actually. This is very true. Andrew came on here and calmed the masses, and Pascal came out and paid him back for his confidence. But you're starting to see the team that Masai constructed and what they're capable of. But again, it's just I want to see it against better competition. But they're sixth in the Eastern Conference. They're climbing. The only ones in front of them right now, because I said I don't know about top 4, but I thought top 5 was possible. And you got the Cavs and Philly in front of them, and you don't think they can pass those teams? Like they're right back in this. Again, I don't think they're a top 4 team just because they lost so many games early on that it would be really hard to catch a team like Chicago that I think is built really well for the regular season. It could be a 60-win team in the regular season if they're healthy. It's going to be really hard to keep up with Milwaukee if Giannis is healthy. Right, it's going to be really hard to keep up with the Nets now that Kyrie's back, and they might be a mess. So it's going to be hard to kind of crack that real upper echelon. But at the same time, I think it's very possible for this team to be in the middle of the Eastern Conference, and especially with the way the season started, like that's a huge success to me.
Yeah, anything above a 10 seed is a success this year.
Yeah.
Even if it starts going a little south, it's like those are the expectations this year. That's what everyone kind of figured we'd be. So they've changed a bit now because we've seen the full team, what they can do. But in my head, it's still like, I think, if we get in the bubble game and we're playing competitive, it's, that's what this year is still. Hopefully they play above that, but I'm not going to get upset if they don't.
True. I'm hoping they finish like at a top. I know it doesn't matter because of the play-in game. So if you finish 8th, you're still in the play-in. But I would like to see them finish in that top 8, like in a traditional playoff spot. But I stick by it. I genuinely think that they're not going to finish low. I'll put it right here. I don't think they're finishing lower than 6th if they stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, they're not finishing lower than 6th in the East. One more thing I'd like to bring out is like when they've been healthy. I wanted to actually talk to Andrew about this because he was a guy that wanted a 7-footer. Have you not seen how wild have some of these rotations been? Like the 5 guys on the floor where you have, I think it was Pascal, Boucher, and Birch were on the floor at the same time, but OG was guarding the center. Like Nick Nurse, who is the mad scientist, has so many different options right now that's another interesting thing about these games is when it doesn't work early, you're seeing Nick just be like, who's working? I don't care if you all play the same position. You're all on the floor at the same time.
This is what the NBA is.
It's awesome.
Imagine telling someone 20 years ago this is what was going to do
whatever you want. 6'8" guys.
Positionless
doesn't matter.
Man.
Yeah,
long arms, wingspan. That's what they brought in all their guys for.
It's defense isn't generally entertaining to watch. This Raptors team is entertaining. It's funny when you end up realizing who all is on the floor, and it's even better when it starts to work out and drive the other team nuts. Justin Champagne needs a shutout. Shout out real quick just before we move on. I was talking some shit that I thought he needs. I think he still needs to be in the G League because I think he could dominate in the G League, and I think that'd be good for him. But
he had a few nice games after you said that.
That's what I mean. That's why I wanted to come back out here and give the man his praise because he's done well. And you know what? If he's not hitting his shot, he's going to play defense. He's going to hustle.
The Raptor.
We're tied up right now, by the way, Steve.
Ugh.
Chris Paul hit a 3.
Fuck,
it's going to be a
Chris Paul. I didn't think it was going to be an easy one.
No, we got to give these struggling players, these lone players, the Randall Grichuk and the treatment we gave those guys early on, where we tried to yell them into success.
Oh, God.
It works for some of them, it doesn't work for a lot of them.
Cause. We don't need to.
But we had a few where we like Lourdes, we turned some guys' careers around. Personally, we did that.
I was going to say, Theo, when you bought that jersey, it was during that hot streak, it just kept it going.
And we'll see how that. I can't wait to talk some baseball, but we were still.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited for once.
We got a meeting in 2 days. We'll see how that goes.
I was just about to bring that up that they're supposed to be talking again. So
I want to talk.
Trying not to get overexcited. Yeah, let's get to the NFL in Week 18. Are we going to start with that?
I guess
we don't have to.
Get it
out of the way. Tony, the floor is yours.
I've never been more ashamed to be associated with the Indianapolis Colts my entire life. I knew they were going to lose on that opening drive, and it was done right there. Trevor Lawrence, in the first half of that game, had more yards than he did in like 7 games this year. It was the defense and the offensive line didn't show up on Sunday. They didn't show up to the game. The Jaguars' offense looked like the Broncos from 2012. They were unstoppable. Trevor Lawrence made every throw. The receivers were open on every play. And in the first half, I'm not going to say anything about the quarterback, Carson Wentz. Not going to say anything about him at the beginning of the game because he wasn't the problem in the first half of that
Oh, my God.
It became bad in the second half of the game when the O-line stopped blocking and he did his thing where he has to go and win the game. So he made stupid decisions, forcing the ball down the field. And they scored 11 points. They scored 11 points against the Jaguars when they were 15-point favorites in a win to make the playoffs game. And I'm embarrassed. It was disgusting. And I'm really angry.
I feel like I'm looking in a mirror right now of the 2020 takes I had with Carson. I'm an Eagles fan. Exactly. Keep reminding people of this. I don't know who knows. I was saying the exact same shit about Carson, and I'm not saying it's not true. Like, I agree with some of the stuff you're saying. I'm just saying I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore because it feels like it's just he's one of those guys who
inconsistent.
He's going to consistently put up numbers at the end of the season. You're going to look at his stats and you're going to be like, that was a good season. And then you're going to remember the moments like the left-handed interception into the end zone and that game.
That was a fumble, by the way.
They didn't count that interception because he had a big streak going and that didn't count into it.
That's bullshit. That was an interception.
It was only a fumble because they knocked it out of his hand. It would have been a touchdown pass if it was not deflected.
All right.
I mean, I'll
give you that one, Tony. I'll give you that one.
You're right. You know, he did have a good season overall, but the low points for him were,
was it a good season though? Like,
break
it down. Was this what you wanted when you got him? You wanted this, like this kind of season. I'm not talking about the last game. I'm talking about the whole season. Like, did he elevate you from what you had?
No, he was a okay quarterback, which they couldn't have gotten one otherwise. So I don't know.
Now this setup
next year too.
I would like to point out.
Too much time shitting on Anthony. I was just wanted to.
No. That's why I was trying to transition. Now this setup what could have been the most ridiculous thing on the face of the planet. Absolute chaos where the Raiders and Chargers then decide not to play football.
Who thought that was actually going to happen? Like people actually thought they weren't going to play.
You know that the NFL got involved and was like, you have to do this.
I don't even think they needed to.
Brandon Staley is a guy who would never do that. He's the guy who's like, when you saw the timeout in overtime, he's the guy who's like, I'm winning.
You know the bad karma the Raiders would get on John Madden Day to fucking do that if they just took knees for 4 quarters? That would literally be pissing on
that's a good point, actually. But just
haunted forever.
That game ended up being a spectacular game and went to overtime, but the fact that the NFL allowed that to be a potential thing that could have happened, and then the fact that I'm sorry, Tony, but the fact that actually got to the point where that could happen because the Jags ended up winning, like that was one of the most ridiculous things possible. And I was just rooting for utter chaos. I wanted something hilarious to happen. I also don't care if the Steelers make the playoffs, so watching them miss the playoffs on a technicality that is some bullshit also would have been great.
Yeah, I wanted the Steelers out. I was with my dad and my brother who are Steelers fans. They were laughing in my face the whole day. They're saying, "Oh, look, they'll make playoffs. Ben Roethlisberger make playoffs." I'm like, just wait till tonight. See what. You
mean the decrepit corpse of Ben Roethlisberger? Because he's so toast.
My brother's a Steelers fan too, and I kept sending him like 99.9% chance to make it before the game. I just kept saying it like you can't not make it. Like this is pretty much a guarantee. And then the game. When did you seriously believe this game was going to be like had a real shot at being tied? Like at what point in that Sunday night
Herbert had
like,
the ball at the end,
fourth quarter? Yeah,
I knew they were going to score.
Like it's just,
when they went, I kept tracking when it was like, within football numbers. When it went to 15, I'm like, all right, there's still that possibility to get to overtime now.
Yeah,
and then at the end, everything just happened. Like Justin Herbert played like the craziest fourth quarter, the craziest like fourth down conversion rate. It was unbelievable.
When that's what it like when that shit started happening at the end of the game and Justin Herbert started going apeshit, it was like, is this actually going to happen? You know, like, are we gonna see this? Now we're gonna see it in a way more entertaining way, but like essentially I was thinking, are we gonna get to the point where one of these coaches blinks and they both just go, fuck it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm washing my hands of this. I'm making the playoffs. If someone had the gut, like you on one of those drives, just to sit on it, and we'll both make the playoffs. The positive thing is they're also division rivals, so
that's what the Raiders were
adds
doing
to
at the end. Though,
the Raiders also didn't want to play the Chiefs again. You saw what happened. They had a chance not to play the Chiefs. They won this game. So that was another thing to be factored in that no one was really getting into. But then you had that. The last drive, because Anthony was texting me about this, and I heard a few people talking about this, about the timeout that happened.
Yeah.
Do you think that actually changed any aggression the Raiders were having? Because they were still playing to get in field goal range.
Carr said it after.
What did he mean by that though? Did he mean they were still going to go on third down to try to get the first down? They weren't kneeing on the ball. They were in shotgun even before the timeout.
I know, but they were going to let the time go all the way and see maybe, I don't know. Maybe draw them offside. I don't know. Something like that. Just see maybe we'll move up. Maybe we won't. But either way, like, because even kicking a field goal is a risk at that point. Like, it could get blocked, all of that. So, but the other side of it is the Raiders, they could have. So they're going to play Cincinnati. If they tied, they would have played the Chiefs, obviously. And you don't want that. But at the same time, they play the Chiefs. They get 7 days. They play Cincinnati on 6 days.
They didn't know that going in though. Like got announced during the game. I'm sure no one told them. Like,
well, they could have found out during the game.
Hey, you got an extra day of rest, but yeah, good point.
So it's I don't know. So there's two.
I don't think
sides of it.
they could get 2 weeks for the Chiefs. They're going to have the same shit happen. We saw that happen twice.
They were never going to beat the Chiefs.
No.
Think of, are you going to put your best team on the field? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I still couldn't believe it that. When the Colts lost, I was praying for chaos, and then I didn't think it was going to happen, and then I did think it was going to happen, and then it didn't happen. So it was kind of disappointing, but at the same time, it made the last Sunday night football game it made it more entertaining. You know what I mean? It drew more attention to it in a buffoonish and stupid way for the NFL not flexing it out of Sunday night, but the whole spectacle probably ended up being a good thing because everyone wanted to see what the hell happened.
Tell me if this is hyperbole. This could be prisoner of the moment thing. Considering the circumstances that we were watching develop, was that the craziest regular season game in NFL history? Like with everything that was happening behind the scenes, with the tie potential, like the way the game happened, like the Justin Herbert comeback, all the fourth downs, like
it might be the most ridiculous situation. Because both teams could tie and make the playoffs, but I'm hard to say that that's not a prisoner of the moment.
Yeah, it probably is.
Sunday night,
just because, like, think about the NFL and the amount of like insane hook lateral, like some, you know what I mean, like the Music City Miracle against the Bills. Like,
playoffs,
there have been some plays, which by the way was also a forward pass. It was also a forward pass.
But that was a playoff game. I'm just saying, regular season, considering all of the circumstances around the game, not just the game itself, but like when you add in all the playoff scenarios and who's being affected by it and how a tie could have.
It definitely made it better, and it made it something to remember. You know what I mean? Like, it made it, instead of just the final game of the season, it was, oh my God, did the NFL just ruin the integrity of their sport? Like, that was people were talking about that, because if they did decide to just kneel it out, it ruins the integrity of the sport. Like, it just,
no, they would have been all, they would have.
It created a whole bunch of conversations.
It would have been fine to like a level you've never seen before.
I guarantee that they were informed before the game. this was not happening. Like it basically wasn't allowed to happen.
In overtime, you could have got away with
That's
it. That's
different.
I think,
well, because
now
now
they've done that before.
Yeah,
like in regular season games,
teams have played for ties and been.
Oh yeah, the Eagles did it last year against the Bengals. Like, and no one cared because it's just like a random game. But like,
guys have forgotten that you can't tie football games, right? Like that happened again this.
McNabb,
2008.
Najee Harris. Okay, I was about to say I knew it happened this year. It's happened though. It seems like it happens every year when there's a playoff game. Every time a playoff game. Every time there's a tie game. Every single time it feels like one player that was involved in that game, there's a soundbite of him being like, it's the NFL. I didn't know we could tie. And you're like, really? You didn't know
they play college. Like most of these guys don't watch the NFL. They play college. They have their own rules.
I assume everyone watches the NFL because
I don't know.
Everyone in North America.
I think a lot of kids, like younger kids, are just watching highlights and like clips on Instagram and stuff. They're not watching games.
That's true. Younger kids,
younger people consume sports nowadays. These kids, they don't sit down and watch 19 hours of football.
The youths,
yeah.
Anything else from Week 18 before we get on to should the tie be taken out of the NFL?
No,
I'd like them to do like college style, but they don't want to because of injury potential and.
They want to shorten the games.
Yeah, but like I'd love to see like that's a way more entertaining way to shorten the game,
but like add a game every season.
Exactly. No, it would be way more entertaining to set that up. To me, I think you should. I don't think they'll ever actually do it, but I think entertainment wise, that's fucking the way to go.
The 2-point conversion stuff they do in college now is really funny.
Oh
especially when teams can't score when teams can't execute their offense.
Yeah,
because they do like after 2 overtimes, they do extra 2-point conversions back and forth. Like they go to the other side of the field every time. And there was a game this year where I don't know who was playing in it. I think was it Penn State and someone else, Anthony?
It was Illinois
and Penn State, where they just couldn't get conversions for like seven overtimes or whatever it was.
Jesus, that's hilarious.
We can get to these wildcard games, right?
I was going to say, let's move on to because I don't think there's anything else we really wanted to get to. Bengals Raiders. I don't know about you guys. I love the Bengals here. As long as Joe Burrow's knee is good to go. Hell, man! Like, look what him and Jamar Chase did at the end in week 17. Like, it's just Joe Mixon. I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Well, we've underestimated the Raiders for a while, and for a good reason, because a lot of these wins they've had have been in very advantageous circumstances for them based on who they played. They played whoever the Browns quarterback third stringer was. They played Drew Lock. They played Carson after missing a week for COVID, and then
you could just say Carson.
I was going to say they played Carson Wentz
only because he had he didn't practice for a week. Okay, I'm still not. I'm not done with Carson Wentz, but
he practiced the whole week leading up to the Jags.
We don't need to talk about Carson. We don't need to do the Carson.
Okay.
We could do the Carson Wentz show for another hour, but I don't know.
The team thing.
And the other part that's taken away from this game is we've seen the Bengals blow out the Raiders this year. We were talking about the Chiefs being a shit matchup, but I think the Bengals beat them by like 20 earlier in the year too. So
they beat them pretty handily.
Yeah. So, I think it's probably going to be a Bengals blow. It has the chance to have a lot of offense.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
The line is dropping.
Yeah, it was 6.5. What's it now?
And now it's
I don't know what it is now.
So
yeah,
is there a Bengals injury I don't know about?
That's because that line's off.
Oh, okay.
Like it should be closer to 4 in my opinion. I don't gamble much in the NFL.
No, but like for it to drop 2 points already,
it should. I think the line should have been 4.5. It shouldn't have opened 6.5. Like, that's just too much Bengals love coming in. And I would bet if I had to bet right now, I'd bet the Raiders 5.5. I don't think this is there's some value in the Raiders at that line.
Yeah, no, it's also I think it's fantasy people that saw that championship week out of Burrow and Burrow and Chase, and I think a lot of those people are putting money on them, just being like, "Well, look what they just did."
They've been hot, yeah.
Right. So,
it's also on playoff game for Burrow and most of the Bengals. So
this is the game I want to talk about. And by the way, that Raiders game, I think that's a huge playoff drought that can end. I think it's 0-3 and 1990 something for the Bengals, right?
1991 for the Bengals.
Wait, 91. Oh, playoff wins? Because the Bengals have
the last
been in the playoffs.
Either of these teams have won again. Yeah, I know. We've known about their losses.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, that was like the
Bills.
entire Marvin Lewis tenure. They made the playoffs and couldn't.
No,
win
and they had
playoff games.
hilarious losses too. Like
Yeah.
they had that Steelers game where they all just had a meltdown.
Well, then there was the Kimo Van Olhoffen Steelers game where he destroyed Carson Wentz's knee.
Did they lose to Tom Savage?
I don't
No,
think
they
he was
lost
a
to
Bengal.
Yates.
Yeah,
Oh, the Yates of hell, yeah.
yeah,
I remember that.
that was fucking awesome.
One of those Saturday afternoon playoff games.
4
Yeah.
o'clock.
Texans with it was Yates, and I remember when they had like Sage Rosenfelds with the Texans, and he won a game.
They've had every combination of quarterbacks.
They have, but the game that everyone is. This is the huge wild card game. Pats Bills. It's in Buffalo. It's cold. I mean,
Do we got a weather update? It changes every day in Buffalo because of the lake. But what's it looking like now? I'm gonna look it up.
I was about to say I'm about to look it up as well. I got a feeling it's definitely going to be cold. But if it snows again, is that in Buffalo's favor? Like, is it in Buffalo's favor or is it in the Patriots' favor? Because I would argue that this game, that this game in Foxborough. Oh God, it's a Saturday game or is it a Sunday?
Saturday night.
It's gonna be minus. The low on Saturday is minus 17 Celsius.
What's that in Fahrenheit?
It's gonna be cold, like really fucking cold. What is it? Plus, what? How do you do the conversion? Like plus 30 times 2 plus? I don't know. I can hella find out.
Fahrenheit, whatever.
Yeah.
I only care about the wind in that, though. I think that's what screwed them last time and made the game what it was on that Monday nighter.
They can't. I think if
the wind isn't crazy,
they have to go with what they're like. They have to let Josh Allen win the game. And he has to be given the opportunity to put the team on his back. They have to call designed runs if they're afraid to throw it. And well, to be honest, they can't be afraid to throw it. I'll take that back. You call designed runs if you don't want to throw it 40 times because it's super windy and you need to do other things than just smashing Singletary into the Patriots
as of
stout
now,
run defense.
14 mile kilometer an hour. That's not
bad. Yeah, it's windy.
If it's in the 30s, it's like that's when it changes.
Exactly. That's when we're talking about what happened the last time in Buffalo, right? Those were 30, 40 miles.
Well, those were 40. Yeah. Those were terrible.
Exactly. So it's going to be windy, but it's not something that Josh Allen should be able to. He shouldn't be able to overcome it. I don't think it'll completely stop him. The interesting thing is going to be Mac Jones in the first playoff game. A rookie in his first playoff game.
Coming off the game they just had to, both Buffalo and New England haven't, inspired much.
Buffalo has limped. They limped into a division title.
Yeah, and I was talking shit for them, but even I'll admit.
That Jets game was gross.
Very gross. And it looked like they were just completely off. And they didn't even need to win the end, but it looked like for a minute, it's like, if the Patriots come back here, the Jets have this door wide open to win this game.
So we don't know which team we're going to see.
It's a Bills team that should be the more talented team that backed into the playoffs. But they had that big win against the Bills. They finally, you know what I mean? They killed the boogeyman. They had that big win that they needed, which is what locked up the division. Well, ended up locking up the division for them. This, to me, is the most fascinating game just because of what it means to the Bills. The fact that the Patriots are always the boogeyman, and it's happening in the playoffs. It's the third matchup. This is the game I'm most looking forward to because I know what I think should happen. I actually have no idea what will, though. This is the most, throw your hands up, who the hell knows?
This will undo every good thing the Bills have done the last 2 years. If they do not win this game, this is the biggest game, bigger than last year's AFC Championship game. They have to win this game in order to move on as a franchise. Because if they don't, it's like
if last year was the 1 year where you know what I mean?
Only going to get better. They're only going to improve. Like, Mac Jones only going to get better. This is your chance to run through the AFC, especially with the rest of the AFC looking the way it does. Can't.
Who knows? Who knows who the best team is? Because Kansas City looks like a wagon and then they look terrible, right? Like every team looks like a wagon and then they look terrible. So they got a chance. The Bills just need to get hot again, and it's unfortunate with the way that they've been playing coming into the playoffs. But maybe they can find something here at home. The Mafia is going to be fucking super pumped. So Bills Mafia is going to be going through tables like crazy. Yeah, so. I'm excited. This is one of the ones I'm most excited to watch. I'm also temporarily a member of Bills Mafia because my Falcons are Pain.
Good. You guys had a nice finish this year, though. Made it very competitive. You were playoffs alive until the week 17.
They weren't making the playoffs, and now they're going to draft 20th, 18th.
By the way, you talk so much shit about that Terrell pick. I've seen some stats on that guy. That guy's amazing. An amazing year.
What do you mean talk so much shit about that?
Well, you were mad at you weren't happy with the pick when it happened. AJ Terrell.
No, they needed a corner. They needed a corner, and then he looked like shit to start the season.
Every corner looks like shit his first year.
And then he started playing better. No, and then I told you guys that he was looking better this year. I didn't expect him to finish. Okay.
And then Pitts aside, you're looking great.
Pitts aside, they shouldn't have drafted a tight end 4th overall when they need a quarterback because their quarterback is ancient and he has the pocket awareness of David Carr.
Well, Matt Corral, ready for him.
A little bit of a sideboard. Did you see what David Carr said about Derek Carr?
No.
Yeah, this was way back when Ruggs got arrested.
What did he say?
November, he said, go ahead, Anthony. You probably have it more memorized than I do.
He tweeted that not only is Derek Carr the most valuable player in the league this year, he might be the most valuable player ever. And he tweeted this right after the Ruggs situation.
So when he leads into a Super Bowl, you're gonna know.
Yeah.
When it happens, and it could still happen.
David Carr just out here doing all the drugs, apparently.
He had his rookie yardage record broken this week too. So.
Oh shit! By the General Mills.
Yeah. He's awesome.
I love it. It's a fan. I don't know if you guys listen to fantasy footballers, but they called him General Mills, and now I can't get that out of my head. He's the general, the cereal man.
That works. They really got a good one there in the 3rd.
Well, he'll play next year, and then he'll be a backup for the next 15 years. That's how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, has he not played the best of the rookie quarterbacks? Aside from Trey Lance, but in terms of the ones that have started,
week 18, Trevor Lawrence.
I think Mac Jones has still played better.
I want to pull up their numbers, but Mac Jones has definitely turned it over a lot less. Yeah, okay, no, I'll go with you there. Oh God, Jackson Mahomes is such a douche.
David Carr is a dumb Christian idiot.
Okay, we don't get into bashing.
I like Jackson Mahomes better too.
I like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like his brother. He said Jackson Mahomes. Jackson Mahomes is a.
I know.
Let's move on to
Jackson Mahomes is gross.
People are waiting for the most important game of the week. Obviously, we've been going through this bullshit. We got the biggest game of the weekend, Sunday afternoon.
Okay, I'm going to say something first.
Here we go. Go ahead, Anthony. You take it over. Go ahead.
Stop caring about what happens with Indianapolis. It doesn't matter, okay? Just be happy where you are.
It mattered all year for our pick. That's why we were fucking celebrating it.
No, everyone's talking. It's annoying, okay? I don't want to hear this. Oh, you know what it's like. Shut up.
You're mad that a fan base. Okay, so a quarterback. Okay, this is what you're upset about. You're upset, first of all, that people are paying attention to your football team. That's what you're firstly mad at. Second of all, the Eagles needed you guys to lose to get a better pick. You've saved us so much draft capital by fucking up that Jacksonville game.
It's taunting. It's rubbing
and here's the other. Do you know what people were saying?
Taunting and rubbing it in is fandom.
Do you understand?
Have you seen what Philadelphia
last year at this time? All we heard was how big of a mistake this trade was. How Carson Wentz is going to rebound and be amazing. Jalen Hurts is a piece of shit. All this stuff. Dude, this was a lot of people were saying this stuff.
It was not.
You don't. No, it was happening.
People probably were saying it, but not everyone.
A lot of people were saying it.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying the other things.
So you're upset that people are taking receipts from what happened before. They were saying Jalen Hurts wasn't even a top 40. You were telling me Jared Goff was better than Jalen Hurts before the season. Here's another thing I didn't want to bring up, but we're going to talk about it now.
I don't think that opinion is really changed.
That's a terrible opinion. It's a terrible take.
Not.
Steve?
Oh, where'd I go?
Okay.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
That's weird. I don't know where my camera went, but I'm here. I guess I should leave and come back. I'll be right back.
I will say you make a decent. Okay, Eagles fans will beat shit into the ground, and we'll keep doing it probably for the rest of the season, the rest of this offseason. But the amount of stuff we heard before about our team right now and getting rid of Wentz and all the shenanigans that were happening with this team, I don't think it's unjustified for Eagles fans to be dancing on the grave of what the Colts did this year. Like,
no.
Did you not expect it to happen? Do you think any other franchise would act differently?
Not to the degree that it has. I see all this. Oh wow! Look, Eagles 3 first-round picks, playoff spot, and whatever.
That's not just Eagles fans, too. That's like the national media. It's a crazy situation.
Yeah, I should have said that. Everybody saying that because everyone hates Carson Wentz for whatever reason. He hasn't hurt them in any way. I should be the one angry, but I'm not. I'm not complete. I am, but not they are.
So basically, we just want to establish that
Tony's
love Carson
upset
Wentz right now, and that you're upset that people are talking shit right now. Not even just Eagles fans, everybody. It's like the whole national media.
Yeah, I didn't.
So I understand people beat shit in the ground. You make a good point there, but it's not going to change. Like the Eagles are a very loud fan base.
I was about to say, like
right, they
being
will talk
told.
Shit to the,
Yeah, did you not see what happened when? Like to the Vikings fans, like when Philly won the Super Bowl.
That was very
when Philly won the Super Bowl, did you not see the parade?
Overblown bullshit.
The parade of Philly fans fucking shit up.
There wasn't a parade. Okay, Minnesota fans.
Eagles fans throw snowballs at Santa. That don't defend Eagles fans.
Batteries.
50 fucking years.
Here's but like don't.
The guy was drunk, by the way. That was a drunk guy. Like that was.
You also can't defend Eagles fans as.
I will defend Eagles fans. They are the best fans in football.
Theo, we're Leafs fans. It's like when people go Leafs fans, and you're like, okay, I can't really defend them.
Well, yeah,
I am not one of. All I do is I'm not one of those Leaf fans. You're not one of those Eagles fans. But Eagles fans have a reputation.
What Eagles fans are we talking about? The one guy who threw like what a reputation. Anthony, we went to an Eagles game.
What are their reputations? What is Philadelphia sports?
It was the
what
most
is Philadelphia's sports reputation of all of their teams?
Nobody like gets killed really. Like it's fine.
Nobody gets killed really.
They're at the same level as any other fan base as far as like the violent shit. Like that happens at the same rate as any other fan base. You want to go out west? You want to talk about bad fan bases? Go to like the Raiders games. Go to like Chargers, like not Chargers games. Like
Chargers games have nobody because nobody goes to Chargers games except for away fans.
By far worse. The only difference: the Eagles fans are loud on Twitter, and that's apparently like the difference. That the same stuff happens at all these stadiums. Go to any stadium on any Sunday. There's fights in the crowd. Yes, all this crap happening. The snowball argument has been brought up for like 60 years.
I know. I like to bring it up because it's hilarious, and every time that I have the opportunity to say it, I say it. So. To this actual game, though,
I will defend Eagles fans, the best fan base in the world, and we'll talk about this actual game. We'll get to the actual game. The reason people are here.
You don't have to spend too much time.
We didn't. We spent time.
It's good to be here.
We spent how much time talking about you two arguing about Eagles fans?
We brought up how the Eagles fans are being.
Let's put it to bed and move on to the actual game.
Okay,
let's move on to the actual game.
The Eagles had a nice season. They're in the playoffs. A lot of people didn't expect that to happen, so this is great. This is good. It's
best case scenario for the Eagles: 3 first-round picks, playoffs, a great opportunity for young guys.
You're saying exactly what Anthony didn't want to be repeated.
Yeah, no, but that's like that for the Eagles. It's the best case scenario for them because it's found money because you're still getting better and you get an opportunity to see Jalen Hurts in a playoff game and see what he can do. If he's playing over Gardner Minshew, he's healthy, right?
Yeah, he had a bit of an ankle thing the last couple weeks, but like you saw how he looked against Washington. He's fine.
Exactly. So I told you all season I didn't think he was an NFL quarterback because he had issues making reads in college, and he looked better down the stretch. Devonta Smith looks great. They got a lot of options. They have a lot of options. They're a young team. They have a lot of picks. This is the best situation the Eagles have been in a while. Because it looks like they have some pieces. You don't know what's permanent, but you have a good future going forward. You have some pieces. If Jalen Hurts, even if he's not your franchise quarterback, if he can kind of keep doing what he's doing until you find the franchise quarterback, there are worse guys to have. It's been a great year.
He's changed the perspective on what I thought we were going to be coming into this offseason. I thought, okay, hopefully Jalen's good, but like, what if we can get a Russell or an Aaron Rodgers? Like, is it something we jump on right away? Now I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think Jalen's here for sure next year. The offensive line, hopefully Kelsey doesn't retire because that's the best, one of the best in football at least.
Well, and there's also no quarterback this season for them to draft to replace Jalen, so you better stick with Jalen this year. Right?
Yeah.
But but to get to this game, sorry.
Draft. So we'll talk about this game though, because I'm very concerned about it. I know a lot of Eagles fans wanted Tampa because of the injuries, because we played them kind of close last time, even though it was a lot of garbage time stuff. We beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl last time. Like a lot of these like narrative stuff people are chasing. I did not want this matchup because I don't trust Jonathan Gannon against any kind of decent quarterback. I think his defensive play calling and style does not fit for a game against Tom Brady, and I really hope he's made some adjustments that he hasn't been making all year, because this is going to be a game where Tom Brady, in my worst fear is he has like a 90% completion percentage, and we're just sitting there watching him march in the field all day. That's my big concern.
Is Mike Evans back?
He played last week, and I think he's still kind of banged up. Like he's always kind of hurt. The last couple weeks, I think he's been kind of hurt, but he's been playing.
If you got Mike Ward last week,
if you got Mike Evans and Gronk is healthy,
they're getting a few other guys back too. They're not getting Sherman back.
No, but
he's
it's
out
just,
for the year.
It's This is gonna sound stupid. It's gonna sound just like your standard whatever. But are you gonna bet against Tom Brady in this playoff game?
Probably.
Actually, well, you're the Eagles fan.
Yeah, he sucks in the playoffs, so you should, right?
No, but
I was.
This is what I mean. It's you look at this, and I know what Theo just said. What Eagles fans are talking about. You have the beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. You have the fact that he's missing so many of his weapons. That Mike Evans is gimpy.
That we're fresh. We're like, this is how these Eagles have been in so many years.
It's hard for me as a Falcons fan to, as much as I want to see Tom Brady, and it's hard for me to see that coming anytime soon. I don't think he's losing this game. I really don't. I think he's going to drag the Bucs to an NFC Championship game at worst, because that's what he does. I know it sounds stupid, but it's just.
I think if defensively we're more aggressive, if the front four is doing what it's supposed to do, offensively, I think we can control the ball. I know everyone says, "Oh, you can't run on this defense. You can't do anything." The Eagles have an amazing run offense, and I think they have a shot at actually running against this defense. I don't think they're going to be like, "Oh, we have to change our game plan 100% to match, to take away from Vita Vea. We have to start passing all this shit." We're going to be able to do stuff offensively. My concern is defensively. Are the Eagles going to make the adjustments to get off the field? And that's where I think we'd lose the game. I don't think it's going to be.
Are you going to be able to get Brady
in the game the whole time? What? You froze up, Steve.
Oh yeah, no. That's why I stopped talking, because I realized I froze. So.
Okay. Yeah. I think you said, "Are you going to get to Tom Brady?" And that's it sounds like a generic bullshit talking point, but that's pretty much it. Like
he's not good on.
No, but that's how you beat him. No, but that's exactly. It sounds like a bullshit talking point, but if you look at every time he loses, it's because people got in his face. Every time Tom Brady loses, it's because the defensive line gets to him. You want to know why he's so bad against the Saints? Cam Jordan. I'm dead serious. Look at Cam Jordan's numbers every time he plays against Tom Brady. It's stupid. They get pressure on him. The Giants beat him by getting pressure on him. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's the only thing to do. It's the only option. It
needs to be a Josh Sweat day. Like, not having Brandon Graham has been an issue. And
Brandon Graham had how good Brandon Graham had been. Like, you'd love to have that.
Oh my god, yeah, that's been a big problem. But like, for the most part, we're as healthy as we've been. Like, usually we're talking about the Eagles as being this decimated team. Like, they are pretty healthy. And I'm going to probably jinx it now, but like, they're decent this season to see like an actual team like not get decimated.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, as much as Tony doesn't want to hear it, like they've never been in a better situation. Like, they're healthy and rested going into the playoffs. They have all this thing. Like, they have young players. They have draft cap. Like, there's so much found money in this game that it wouldn't surprise me if they started hot too. A young team that doesn't know any better.
Well, the Eagles don't know how to start a football game. That's another problem.
Okay, well,
there you go. Weeks they can't start the first half.
Your boy Nick Sirianni might have some issues, because that I think is what would be their best bet.
Yeah, but like in the end, I'm not.
If they somehow got up early with the way that they run the football, and it's not even that they're even amazing at doing it. It's the fact that they're so committed to doing it and have had
fan base
success.
Bullied them. You know why that started happening, right? They didn't run at all, and then the fan base.
I know Nick Sirianni was throwing on. He was making Jalen Hurts throw the ball all the time, which made no sense. And now they run it and play action it, which makes way more sense. And QB options. And
I think it was a Tampa game. It was a primetime game where Eagles fans were booing and booing because we were not running the ball. And then he finally ran a play and it hit like a 20-yard run. And he just
that was the Cowboys game. It was Miles Sanders blew like a 20-yard run, and I think
it was a home game. It was a home game because the Cowboys game was on the road.
Yeah, but I remember that Cowboys game where they just refused to run the football, and every time they did, they would bust off like.
Weeks they didn't. Yeah, but like the time when like he said like it was like I think it was like week 8 or week 9, one of those like after the stretch where he figured out like we can't keep doing this RPO shit, and the fan base like had this. He's like, "You fucking happy now?" Like, he said something along those lines where it's like.
That's
finally
amazing.
We're starting to figure out what our identity is, but like,
yeah,
we won't. This is going to be a tough game. I won't be surprised the Eagles lose, but like, I don't think it's going to be this. I think the spread's a little high right now. That's what I'm trying to say.
What's the spread at the moment?
Like 9, 8 or 9.
Let's come down a bit then.
It's probably fair. Like I know they're missing a lot of pieces, but I think that's probably fair when you look at this is just like a quarterback's. I know he's not technically a rookie quarterback, but he's a rookie quarterback. I know he's technically a second-year quarterback, but he's a rookie quarterback.
First playoff game. Yeah.
That's what exactly right. Like he's technically Sirianni coach. Oh yeah, that was your bet, Theo.
It's not going to hit, but it got close.
Got closer than I thought it would. I'll be honest with you. But is there anything else you guys wanted to get to this week, or is that it?
We got a few games still.
Oh, damn. Never mind. Keep going.
Yeah, we got to quickly through these. These aren't the games we're really like. Going to focus too much time on anyway. The Steelers Chiefs. We kind of said what we wanted to say about the Steelers.
Ben Roethlisberger has been done
the Steelers
for
can exploit.
Years.
Is there anything the Steelers can do to keep themselves in this game?
A miracle?
Don't turn the ball over.
No, like a miracle.
Good idea.
Like it's possible. Patrick Mahomes could have one of those games where he throws 4 interceptions. Like when he plays he could have one of those early season games, but I don't see that.
Just saw them against Denver, though. Like, against Denver, like, they still had those moments where Tyreek Hill was playing but not effective, and they couldn't get going offensively. Like
that was in Denver, though, so you know how it
altitude.
is.
We just talked about altitude.
Yeah. Is Tyreek, like, fully healthy? Like
I was about to say, he's banged up.
He's fully healthy. Him not fully healthy is such a problem because he's like a small guy who needs to be.
And it's exactly. He needs to be fast. Let me look this up because I'm pretty sure he'll probably play, but
he's definitely playing. I just
not any good. Anticipating Tyreek Hill will be okay to play, so he's gonna play, but he's not gonna be at 100%. So you hope, essentially, with someone like Tyreek Hill, it is possible though for him to bust one early, and he might not be able to play for the rest of the game, but he might score you a 60-yard touchdown early, and that could be the difference. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been big for them. Them running the ball has been big for them.
Even the backup's been good.
Is he playing?
Darrell Williams, Darrell Williams was great to end the season. I'm actually looking at this right now to see if Clyde's playing.
It's hard to do these on Tuesdays because the injury reports don't come out until tomorrow.
No, that's what I mean, because I'm looking at something from 2 days ago. So it's like it's them talking about how Clyde has a chance to play, but the problem is, you know what I mean? It's from yesterday morning, so he has a chance to play. But we're not going to know how much of a chance until later because we're getting Tuesday practice reports, which is really nothing. So that's going to be a big thing to watch. Is Clyde going to be there? But again, the Steelers just look fried. If I'm being honest, Ben looks done, and he has for a couple of years, but this year specifically.
Well, they're playing a real team for the first time since they played the Chiefs last time, and we saw how that turned out. So
exactly,
this should be an easy one. For the Chiefs. Sorry, Lucas.
They're another team where it's like, they're going to be in transition after this, and the run they're having, this should feel like a Super Bowl run. What they've done the last 2 weeks to get to this position, the send-off tour, and the fact that they're here right now is one of those found money situations. Where
they can thank Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I would be more surprised if the Steelers won this game than last week when the Jags won.
Yeah, no, facts.
I also skipped over a game, and I didn't realize that. I skipped over Cowboys-Niners. So.
Oh, okay. There's the one. Is that the last one now?
No,
we got the Monday Night still.
Monday.
Oh, okay.
We'll breeze through these two.
Cowboys-Niners is these teams are when I say they're the same team, I mean at moments both of them have had both of these teams have had moments where they're like, holy Christ, this could be the best team in the NFL. right? Where like, Elijah Mitchell's going and Jimmy G's not doing much, but he's doing just enough and he's still throwing for 300 yards because Debo is healthy and he's going nuts and he's running the football. And Ayuk at the end of the season when they needed to throw to somebody, right? And George Kittle all season. They have so many fucking weapons. And you look at the Cowboys, they have so many fucking weapons. And then you know what's happened? Dak's been hurt and been bad, and Jimmy G has been... He's either been a mess or he's been good. Like, he doesn't have too much in between where he's okay.
Well,
that honestly with him, he's kind of okay. Like, that's kind of the best you're hoping for.
In 40 seconds to put the game.
How many guys were wide open on that drive, though?
Yeah, the Rams, they were mailed. I don't
know.
That
touchdown was like no one was within 20 fucking yards of him.
And they just dominate the Rams for some reason.
I know, yeah.
Shanahan.
We were saying that last week, and
they just have the Rams number.
And
this is a Niners team.
I'm betting on the Niners this week.
Yeah, because like if I'm looking at this, I have no idea what's like. Both of these teams are so high variance. Like a 9-9 game is just as likely as like
9-9.
It's got to win, but a 12-9 game is like just as likely as a 35-42 game. Have you seen both of these quarterbacks at times be able to like? Have you seen Dak the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, I have. I've been woke to that for a while.
No,
but
Dak,
they're also the Niners are a good. Like we see Dak against bad teams, in good teams. There's a big difference.
Yeah, and the Niners have this weird like the Niners can get some pressure, but they don't have a good defense. Like
it's their secondary that's the problem.
They're a mess, and the Cowboys, yeah, they got Diggs, but. He's like we talked about this last week. Like he's allowed over 1,000 yards and like he leads the league in interceptions, but he gets burnt all the time either. And when you have Debo, and I know Ayuk wasn't used until the second half of the season, but then they started going to him, and you remember why he looked so good in his rookie year.
What's really going to be the difference in this game? It's going to be the Dallas defensive line make Jimmy look stupid and make dumb mistakes. If they don't do that, they're going to lose.
Yeah, well, and if the Niners can get their run game going to slow down the Cowboys' pass rush, like that's how they win the football game, is by running the football and by dominating the Cowboys on the ground. That's the only way I see as the Niners' way to victory. And again, with the Cowboys, it's almost the polar opposite. Like Dak has to put the team on his back because these DBs aren't very good, and he has to shred them. Because that's how this team wins. Mostly because look at Zeke the last day.
How's Pollard fried? Is Pollard hurt still?
Well, he's banged up, but he's the best running back they have. Yeah, like he's
been clear for 2 years now.
He's banged up, and Zeke's a mess. So this game is fascinating because both of these teams are such disasters.
Well, then you're also talking about Kyle Shanahan versus Mike McCarthy, and I know what side I am on in that game.
I know what Anthony's going to say. This does not reflect the views of this podcast.
Say what? What am I going to say?
You're on
I'm never Mike
McCarthy's side of this.
No.
I'm never.
I thought you were.
I'm never on Mike McCarthy's. I'm never on Mike McCarthy's
side. Tony hates Kyle Shanahan a lot. I thought he was going to like drop it.
I hate him. I hate McCarthy more.
Yeah, no. Trust me. What's probably going to happen in this game is we're going to see Mike McCarthy make a really stupid coaching decision, and that's what's probably going to coach. Like,
I can't wait.
Watch that be what it comes down to, because these teams are so high variance and they can be so good and so bad. Watch it be the coaching. The fact that Mike McCarthy does dumb things.
Yeah, at one point in the playoffs, that's how their season.
No. If they win this game, they're not winning. You know, like that's.
Imagine him going to Lambeau for the NFC Championship.
I want it to happen so bad because I think Aaron Rodgers would. I think they'd win like 42-0. Like they would have the amount of revenge. It would be awesome. It'd be so.
Aaron Rodgers is. I think. Yeah. I did not want the Eagles to get the 7th seed for this reason. I did not want to play him in the next game, but. He is.
You got to worry about the second round if you're the Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look ahead, Anthony. You got to plan ahead because you already know what's happening this week.
Okay. Yeah.
God damn it.
Anything else about this game before we move on to the Monday Nighter?
No, let's get to the last one. I wrote the wrong name in. No, wait.
Oh.
Let's just go to the Monday
Nighter. All right. Is it the right name?
Yeah, because I had a Cardinals versus Cowboys from last week still on this thing.
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot to delete it, so I got confused with what I did. But
Okay, so we got a division matchup for the Monday Nighter. I know the Rams looked really bad against the 49ers, but the 49ers have the Rams number, it seems like. Do you guys think the Cardinals can right the ship with the way that they looked at the end of the season? Yes.
Absolutely.
100%. No, I think they can win this game. I'm not saying they can do anything after. I do not believe in the Rams at all. I think Matthew Stafford has been one of the most overhyped guys. And late in the game, I do not trust him to do the right thing with the football.
Yep.
So Kyler struggles at the end of the season. You're basically just hanging this on the fact that you think Matt Stafford.
I'm an anti-Matthew Stafford, anti-Rams guy for a while. And
I know for the last three or 4 weeks you've been talking about it a lot. So
yeah, you cost me fantasy title first of all. The second thing is just like I think he was crowned way too early. I don't think he's much different than his Lions self, and I don't think that's going to be enough. I think he makes too many big mistakes, like massive mistakes, where it's just like not needed, and that's just something that doesn't win you championships. I don't see how he's going to be the guy that does it there. But again,
and we're talking about the NFC West underdog thing that has been going on all season.
True.
The Seahawks beating Arizona last week as 6.5-point dogs. Now we got Arizona as a 4-point dog on the road.
I've been betting the underdog on every NFC West game with Anthony the entire season. Or I've been telling him, like, last week it was 2-0 as well.
Did. It never actually worked for me.
2-0 last week again.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it now. Okay, I got spread and money line.
Now it's going to be mushed.
Yeah, I was going to say, now it's over.
No,
what's the spread in this game?
Rams. Always fade the Rams and the Cowboys. That's smart.
What's the spread right now?
4.
4?
Yeah, that's a Cardinal spot.
Yeah.
And I know there's no Hopkins, like that's an issue. And both these teams have sputtered at points towards the end, but I don't. And another thing too is betting on Cliff is not fun.
That's another thing I bring up. Like the way that they've gone on a backslide and the way that these teams go on backslides after hot starts. It doesn't look good for the Cardinals, but I know what you mean because the Rams are a team built with superstars and everybody else. So there's
scrubs.
Exactly. So there's a chance that Jalen Ramsey has the type of game where he just takes over. There's the chance that Aaron Donald is one of the best players in the NFL for a reason. There's a chance that he could just completely take the game over. I kind of side with the Rams just because the way if you guys are both on the Cardinals, I'm on the Rams just because of the way that the Cardinals ended the year. It looked bad, man, and I can't get that out of my memory. And it looked like a team that was kind of falling apart, that had run out of gas and couldn't make adjustments. The way they looked at the beginning of the season, where they looked unstoppable, to the way that they look so just bad on offense sometimes in this last stretch, I'm probably on the Rams.
Okay.
Anything else, boys?
No, we can go back into the Carson Wentz debate.
Well, you want more?
I think we can pause this and take this. We can take this offline. We'll continue this conversation.
The Raptors are up 65-62 late in the third. Ooh. Really got quiet with the scoring.
This is a huge game for the Raps. Hopefully they can pull this one out, just because again they're playing one of the best teams in the NBA. But other than that, this has been the Toronto Until podcast. I'm Steve Artabello. As always, I'm here with Anthony Harris and Theo Giordano. You can find us at our website, torontountilt.com. You can find us at our Twitter, Toronto Untilt. We're streaming live on YouTube, and this video will be posted on YouTube, Toronto Untilt. Of course, you can find us on Twitch, where we're also streaming live. That's Toronto Untilt as well. And finally, anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Bleaker, all of the things. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. God, it's playoff football time. I'm excited. It's great.
Goldberg.